Let us walk through the process of uploading trial layouts. Now there are many different ways of doing it, and I'm going to show you the different ways. The first way will be using a list like this with repplot tree, the family information, species and propagule, and then we'll move on to uploading this map. How we go about it is to use the uploads for site entries. I've given it a title there already. I've selected a trial name, a site name, and the input file, which is that Excel file which we've looked at. Go to next. Right, here's the pairing process. We compare repetition with the replicates, plot with plot, tree with tree, family with germplasm, and the propagule is important if it is not half subseed. Right, the upload has happened and it says that it's completed. If we then go to trees, alive trees, let's just search on today's edit. You can also search for the trial name. And here we have a list of 30, it's just a small trial which I included here, 30 trees. And the rep, the plot, and the tree numbers going down here. It was single tree plot design with the different families in it. So our trees are already here, but you'll notice that the plot row and column aren't there and the tree X and Y positions aren't here. And this is the layout information which we need. We distinguish between the plot rows and columns and then the actual tree rows and columns, and these will differ where we have multiple tree plots. So in order to upload the plot row column positions, we go to uploading our map. So we can go to plot row column positions from maps. One can also do it from a list of trees like the list that you have there, but you have an extra 2 columns with the row and the column position of the plots. But it's possibly easier to use plot row column positions from maps. We put in a name here, the site name. I'm going to reuse the file as last time, but now we're going to use sheet 123. Okay, so it is trying to match the rep colors to the plots. If we go to the plot map, we've colored each rep or replicate in a different color. This is to enable us, if we have irregular shaped reps, it enables the program to identify where the reps begin and end. And what we have in this is the plot numbers. Plot 1 was here, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we went up 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. So our first rep was this color, the second one was a greeny color, and the third one was the blue color. You also need to just say where the top left cell is and the bottom right cell. So if we go back to our sheet, the top left cell is cell B3. So let's put that in here. And the bottom right is cell F8. Then we must say what kind of information is in those cells, and I'm saying it's new plots in their plot row positions. We could also have entry names in the plot row positions, or plots and entry names in the plot row positions. All three of these would work. But let's start with this. It's done it. So now, if we go to our trees, alive again, And now we see that it has included plot rows and columns here. Let's just zoom it a little for you. So these two are now populated, which means that when we go to our queries and we look for a plot map, not a plot and tree map, and we look for that particular trial, we can start off by just looking at the plot row column positions. We can give it a little color. We now have those plots in the row column positions. However, we can also have a map on the germplasm, and it gives those, or combinations as we see there. Let's take the entry name and the plot position. So there's the entry name and the plot position. So we've now uploaded the plot layout, but you'll notice here that the tree numbers have not been allocated to their row column positions, their XY positions. Now we'd like to allocate trees to XY positions, and to do so, let's go to the plot row column positions. Now, because this trial hasn't got the plot configuration already uploaded, we need to work through this side of the database. Let's select the trial. Now we see that there are no within plot configurations there, and in order to allocate the trees to the positions, we need to know what the plot configuration is. So we select all those plots and we change the plot configuration for these trees, all 30 of them. Single tree plots, apply. Right, now we have single tree plots there, and now we can actually allocate the trees to their row column positions, their XY positions. It says it's successfully done. If we go here and refresh, we should see row column positions or XY positions being allocated to the trees here as a result of that previous action. There they are. This now means that when we go to our queries, we can have a query for a map with trees in it. Now it's single tree plots, so it's just going to show a 1 for each tree. We can have, let's have all three. We're going to have the germplasm, the plot position, and the tree number. And let's have a color for the reps. So there we have a germplasm, plot number, and tree number. Germplasm, plot, tree. And that is the map of the layout of at a tree level, not a plot level. Thank you.